Well, in this video, I will do an integration by parts, but this will be more than once. So this one's a little bit more work, a little bit more complex, because we have to integrate it more than once. So we got to integrate 7x squared cosine of 4x dx. And if you recall, let me just write out the integration. It is integration of u dv equals uv minus the integration of v du. Okay. So basically, you just need this. So first, we got to figure out what's our u and what would be our dv. So our u is the one that's the least complicated one. So I'm going to say my u will be 7x squared. And then if I do du dx, this would be 14x. And then I want to solve for du, so I have to get rid of this dx. So I'm going to multiply both sides by dx. Okay, so this is going to be du equals to 14 dx. Okay, now let's figure out our dv. So my dv is, I'm going to say my dv is cosine of 4x dx. So we need to find v. So how do I get v? By taking the integration of dv. So to find v, it's basically the cosine of 4x dx. And how do I take the integration of this? You're going to do use the substitution. So I'm going to set my u as 4x, and then my du would be 4 dx. Since I don't have a 4 anywhere here, so I have to get rid of this 4. So to do so, I'm going to multiply both sides by 1/4. So this is going to be 1/4 du, and then 4 dx times 1/4, that's just dx. Okay, so it's v equals integration of cosine, and then replace 4x with u. And then I'm going to replace dx with 1/4 du. Okay. 1/4 is a constant, so you could put that out. And then it's basically the integration of cosine of u du. So what is the integration of cosine u? It is sin u. Okay. So your v is going to be just 1/4 sin of 4x. Now I'm gonna box this because we're gonna integrate it twice, and we might have to use this again. So instead of doing more work, let's just box this real quick, and then when we see the integration of cosine of 4x dx, we can replace it with 1/4 sin of 4x. Okay, so if we apply the integration by parts, if we do the integration, it's uv minus integration of v du. So my u, you said, was 7x squared. V is 1/4 sin of 4x. Minus the integration of v du. So our v is 1/4 sin of 4x. And then my du is 14x. So if we go up, our du is 14x. Minimus. This should be my mistake. Du should be 14x dx, not 14 dx. Okay, so now if we apply the back to this step, we replace du with, so it's integration of v du, so our v is 1/4 sin of 4x, and then our du is 14x dx. Okay, I guess we can start cleaning this up. 14 times 1/4, that's 14 over 4. And then you have this x. And then you have sin of 4x dx. And then 14 over 4 can be reduced by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 4 divided by 2 is 2. X sin of 4x dx. So over here, let's clean this up. 7x squared times 1/4, that would be 7/4 x squared sin of 4x. Now, over here, we're going to have to apply the integration by parts again, right? Because you see a multiple of 2, a product of 2, that means you most likely have to do integration by parts. So let's figure out our u and what would be our v. So our u would be our u would be 7/2 x. And then my du dx is just regular 7/2. Oh, and then wait, we want to just get regular du, so I have to get rid of this dx by multiplying both sides by dx. So it's du equals to 7/2 dx. Okay, and then what would be my dv? My dv is sin of 4x dx. So my v is the integration of this, so that's sin of 4x dx. Now I think I boxed it. I boxed what is, oh, no. I didn't, so I have to do this first. What is the sin of 4x dx? You got to do u substitution. So my u would be 4x, my du would be 4 dx. And as you can see, I have to get rid of this 4 because I don't see a 4 here. But the only way I'm going to get rid of this 4 is multiply both sides by 1/4. That's 1/4 du. And then 1/4 times 4, that's dx. Okay. So it's going to be sin of u, and then you can replace dx with 1/4 du. Since 1/4 is a constant, go ahead and take it out. And then it's sin of u du. So that's going to be v equals 1/4. And then what's the integration of sin u? Negative cosine u. But so I'll put a minus here. So the integration of sin u is negative cosine u. So yeah. So I'm going to distribute this minus in front of the 1/4. Okay. So our v is negative 1/4 cosine of 4x. Okay, so we're only doing this part. So now we got it. So like I said, we have to apply integration by parts twice. So we got our u, we got our v. Now put it in the formula. So the formula is uv minus integration of v du. So we said our u was 7/2 x. My v is negative 1/4 cosine of 4x. minus the integration of v du. So my v is negative 1/4 cosine of 4x. And then my du, we said du was 7 half x, 7 half dx. So it's a minus negative 1/4 times positive 7 half is negative 7/8, right? You have a minus, and then I guess two negatives becomes a positive, and you could put that 7/8 in the front, so that's 7/8 cosine of 4x dx. And then maybe I can clean this up. So this would be negative 7/8 x cosine of 4x. And then now we have to take the integration of cosine of 4x dx, but we are lucky because we already did this. I think I boxed it somewhere right here. So we said that the integration of just regular cosine 4x dx is 1/4 sin of 4x. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to redo it. I'm just going to replace that with that. So yeah, the integration of cosine 4x dx is positive 1/4 sin of 4x 4x, and then plus c, and then you also have this times it by 7/8. So that would be this would be 7/8 times 4 is 32. Sin of 4x plus c, and then you have negative 7/8x cosine of 4x. But be careful. Remember, this step here, this was all minus. So we have to distribute a minus for this whole thing. So over here, two negatives becomes a positive, so that's 7/8x cosine of 4x. And then this would be minus 7/32 sin of 4x plus c. And then remember, we also had that uv, so we said our uv right here from the beginning. Our uv was 7/4 x squared sin of 4x. So bring that down. So this is your final answer, 7. Okay, so this is your final answer. Final answer is 7/4 x squared sin of 4x plus 7/8 x cosine of 4x minus 7/32 sin of 4x plus c. So this one, it was a little bit more difficult because we had to integrate it by parts twice. And there's a little trick. If you already, I circled the integration of cosine of 4x dx because I had to do that again. So that's why I boxed this. Okay, so that is our answer. I will stop here.